But I feel like at this point, our listeners aren't waiting for. They're not like, what happened to that perfectly mixed show that we used to listen to?
The content was terrible, but boy, were the production values high.
Bazinga boys are here to speak all of their thoughts on the Big Bang Theory. Rob has an opinion, Vaughn has an opinion, Pete probably has one too. But most of all, Rob has an opinion.
Hey, my name's Vaughn, and welcome to the Bazinga Boys
I'm Rob. Welcome to Bazinga Boys.
episode.
I'm Pete.
I'm a
Bazinga boy.
I interrupted you, Pete, but we don't have time to introduce you. It's up to episode 12. How are you guys feeling after watching an episode of The Big Bang Theory?
Feeling like I was sad to not be talking to you guys, but happy to not be watching it for the past 7 months.
What do you mean 7 months? It's
Yeah.
just been a really, really busy week. What was this episode about, Pete?
This episode was called the Jerusalem Duality.
Wicked.
Boy, was it exciting. Okay, so 15-year-old physics prodigy Dennis Kim starts to work in the research lab or the uni or the college or whatever, where the boys work. And Sheldon is challenged by the fact that he's like this 15-year-old prodigy is probably smarter than him. And then him and the other lads set out to destroy a teenager. That's what I took away from the episode.
I wrote the episode as just Sheldon's an arsehole. Like, last episode was Sheldon's sick, and then they're like, hey, how about we switch it up this time? And Sheldon's just an asshole the whole episode.
Well, they basically destroyed this kid's physics career, and he ends up being like a bit of a burnout by the end of it.
Yeah, I actually
But-
didn't... Oh, sorry, go, Rob.
But they were, I guess, in the end, they were tossing up whether they'd chosen the right life path because he got girls and they don't.
Okay, so in this episode, Sheldon just starts walking around to everyone and being an asshole. And then he goes and being an asshole to the creepy guy, the sexual harassment dude, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
And, oh, he is Jewish as well. What the hell?
And he calls him, and he direct quote from the episode is, Howard, you're a Jew.
Yeah.
Like questioning him.
I wish people could. If we had a video version of this, we could see Rob's uncomfortable laughing. Like,
I'm not uncomfortable. I'm trying not to move because my chair's really squeaky.
okay, well, so the creepy guy in this episode, Sheldon walks into his room and is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the creepy guy says he's making a small payload support structure, which is like made out of titanium. And it's like a shelf that needs to stay perfectly level for some bullshit reason. And Sheldon, in a great joke, just a great joke, says, "Oh, so it's a shelf." And it is. It's basically just a shelf that moves on a lever. And I've got a new segment. I've got a new Big Bang Theory. And my
Hit us with it.
yeah,
Drop it on us.
so my theory is that this machine it's like a mechanical shelf. It's a shelving machine, and Howard uses it to shelve things up his anus. My question to you, that's my new theory. The only problem is I'm not sure exactly what he's shelving. Any ideas, guys, of what he might be putting up his anus?
So, wait, so is Sheldon the one that's getting
No.
receiving?
Sheldon's got a virgin anus, 100%. You know that. How is the creepy dude, and he's definitely up into putting things up his anus. I'm just wondering what it is. And I in the next scene, if you go back and watch this episode, which I don't recommend you do, the next shot after the shelving scene, this is painting a wrong picture. There was no shelving scene where Howard is bent over and this machine
There's a scene with a shelf.
so after the whole shelving scene, which is very graphic, the next scene opens with a poster that says "Dark Matter." So I think a little subtle nod towards what was going on. So I'm just going to be watching in future episodes to see what Howie, or whatever his name is putting up
Howard,
his anus.
keep an eye out. See if he's got a limp. He might have something going on.
He didn't walk for the rest of the episode. There's like a conspiracy running through the next 14 minutes of the ep.
That's why his back was to the wall at the party at the end.
Makes so much sense.
What's
Oh, dude, I don't know what would you shelf with a with a mathematically perfect level machine that's designed to hold things in 0G?
Well, actually, this stupid show. In 2 weeks is Splendor. I think I'm gonna have to be shelving for the first time. Well, oh, and actually second time ever. Have you guys ever shelved anything?
No. Just no. Pete?
Yeah, I'll just give it a big old thumbs up.
Literally.
Wasted youth. Yeah, dude,
What
totally.
did you shelf, Pete?
Well, I got told it was a
Bazinga.
Oh, okay, true. I shelved it.
It might have just been the dudes, I don't know, like
Bazinga.
rolled up in a cap for all I fucking know.
If you're wondering, I shelved a weird ice block that was made out of coconut oil and hemp oil, and it was actually pretty good. Anyway, continuing on.
Wait. You can't move on from that. What was the purpose?
Is that shelving or is that just like cold dildoing? Like what's
It wasn't like a frozen
More-
dildo, like it was like a
I
little,
think popsicle.
it was like a little ball, and then like the hemp oil like melts in your butthole, and it makes it.
Ah, cool. I missed the hemp oil bit, man. I just heard like coconut oil for some reason. I was just
What am
like,
I, some sort of weirdo, just putting a ball of coconut oil up my ass? What the fuck do you think I am? Come
It's
on.
coconut farts.
Alternative medicine up in Brisbane? I don't know.
That's actually pretty accurate. So yeah, that's from Future. Let's see what he's shelving up there. Also on this episode, did you guys notice that sort of the precursor to the Bazinga? So you know how we've been waiting very patiently, very, very patiently, waiting for them to unleash the Bazinga and the first utterance of the word Bazinga. I think here they were trying to like put their toe in the water and see if they could come up with a catchphrase. The catchphrase being "Go away." Doesn't have the same spice to it, I don't think.
I thought. Are you sure it wasn't Howard? You were a Jew. I could just see that like plastered all over T-shirts, like people,
The red
yeah.
shirt with the yellow lightning bolt.
Sheldon, help me fit this thing up my ass. It was another one. Another great quote from the episode. But yeah, did you notice that they were trying to like this running joke of there was a running joke in the episode of Sheldon walking up to annoying people and then going, "Go away," to the uproarious laughter of the audience, which I should ask.
Can we touch on the laughter of the audience before we go to the laugh count?
Yes.
We've talked about this before. The very opening scene, like the doctor just said their name. All they said was the name, and the audience was like rolling in the aisles.
Wait, really? I didn't
like-
even notice that. What was
I don't
the
have many
context?
notes. One of them is laughing at doctor's name, and the next one is just "fuck off, Howard." But we've got literally the audience was just like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" Just at the doctor's name, and I noticed that throughout.
What was the
especially
doctor's
like
name?
later on. It was like a normal name. It wasn't even funny. It was just a name.
There wasn't even any casual racism. I can't remember it. So
I can't remember either, but it's like when Howard walks into a room and the audience just laughs because he's opened a door.
Hello, Dr. Jew.
And also there was another really uproarious laugh at when they were at the party at the end, full of all the 14-year-olds. They made a really like mean, chubby, low self-esteem joke. Audience loved it. The show is definitely heading in a direction of
Well,
that kind
yeah,
of shit.
that's actually something I noticed. Like this episode is Penny's existence in the show is just basically being insulted by Sheldon or being creeped on by Shelfman, and like it's
Dr. Shelfman.
yeah. So Dr. Shelfman. Yeah, it's just. But honestly, if you watch the episode, like what her existence in this episode was being insulted by Sheldon about how dumb she is, Howard going, "Hey, can I fucking finger you or something?" And then all 3 of them or 4 of them coming to her door and go, "Hey, we need 15-year-old girls, Asian 15-year-old
Yeah.
Asian girls,"
To
implying
put some context behind the 15-year-old bit. That's their amazing plan. Like all of these people with doctorates, that's how they plan on getting rid of a 15-year-old boy, by inviting a bunch of 15-year-old girls to like an award ceremony for him.
woo, whoa,
But
great writing.
but then during it, they're creeping on the 14 and 15-year-old girls.
Asian girls, please use the correct terminology. Speaking of bad writing, did you also notice this at the very start of the episode? Sheldon's not happy that there's someone smarter than him, so he says there's a disturbance in the force, and then I don't even know what the glasses man says.
12 episodes in, we're just like, the glasses man,
the main
Shelfman.
character, whatever his name
The
is.
main character.
He
So
goes.
now I'm drawing a blank.
Leonard.
Yeah, that's it.
Leonard. Yeah.
Leonard goes, "Bad feeling I have about this," which that is just not a joke. It's just, hey, remember that thing from Star Wars? This is that. Hey, you know what Star Wars? There was like no joke. Then references aren't jokes. And I think this is going to be something that goes on and on, where they try to incorporate nerd culture, where they just go, hey, like...
Yeah.
It reminds me of those films, you know, like, was it by Friedberg and Seltzer or whatever those guys are, who did like Date Movie and Meet the
God.
Spartans and Vampires Suck and all that shit.
Oh, that's a good idea
it's
for
not
bonus
parody.
episodes, by the way. Us watching and analysing those. Note that for future.
Yeah, every time we don't have 7 months to kill,
Yeah.
we'll get on that.
Just been a busy week, Rob. Just a busy week.
But yeah, like those films just throw people dressed up as something. It's like, oh, he's a vampire. Oh, he's like weeing himself. Nothing to do with the film. Nothing to do with anything.
Hey, that actually sounds pretty
That-
funny.
That's our. Why is he weeing himself? What's going on? This is amazing.
Someone's
Yeah,
alive.
but that's it. It's disguising pop culture, with like really poorly timed references. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to introduce you to my new segment called Reference of the Week, Reference Joke of the Week. So every time they make a reference joke, which isn't a joke, it's just a reference to something, I'm going to...
Usually happens in the first scene.
What?
It usually happens in the opening scene.
Yeah. So so for each week they do that. For our show, because our show just needs some more laughs, I think I'm going to just inject a reference somewhere along in our episode. I'm going to just do a reference to a movie. That's not going to be a joke. It's just going to be a reference to a joke. So look out for that later on the episode. Is there anything else that you guys noticed about this episode?
Have you guys? I mean, something we've talked about in the past. Have people? I've had more than one person tell me, I think you just don't understand the jokes. Like that's
What the fuck? Are you okay? I call bullshit on this. Did someone actually say that to you, Rob?
more than one person. I got
Okay,
a
can you
huge
explain
fight,
explain the people? Was that in reference to this podcast or anything?
No, this is like one was prior to that, and one was when I was telling someone about this podcast. She's like, maybe you just don't get the jokes, and I was like, what? She's like, I'm super geeky, and I get it, like all the references. So it's just what you're saying, like they're literally just throwing references at it. People are like, I can relate. That seems like a common thing if you go through forums and stuff online when people bash this out. People say, you just don't get it.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
I get it. It's just not funny. Something I don't get
And
though.
then they'll go, funny is subjective. And then you're like, well, I can't
no,
argue that.
You can argue that, like, because there's. It's because, like I say with the reference thing, there's nothing. Saying something you remember isn't like funny. It's like just saying. If I just said like chicken nuggets, you're like, I remember chicken nuggets. Like it's not funny that you. Fuck off, Pete.
I've eaten those before. I can relate to that. I've eaten chicken nuggets in the past. And that's
Rob,
very
why
funny
are you
to
laughing?
me.
Maybe you just don't get it.
But I thought, Rob, I thought you were gonna laugh at one point because you get off on that repeated comedy. So for jokes like done again and again and again, you'll have a bit of a smirk or you'll crack up about it. In this episode, it was like Sheldon feeling rejected and going to each one of his friends just to try and hang out and try and get some positive feedback about his life, and they kept all telling him to get out. And so
Yeah,
Excuse me.
was just
The
like-
catchphrase was "Go away." Get it right, thanks.
Go away, sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that to me, it's got to be like I've got to be caught off guard with that repetition. With that, it was just
Cool.
like, well, this is going to be the next 5 minutes.
Let's just play four scenes
At one
out,
point, I was
yeah.
like, I bet in one of them we won't even see him talk to them. They'll just be like, go, oh yeah, there it is. So, yeah, I mean, they're hitting all the marks of American sitcom. So.
Very nice. Speaking of
There's the catchphrase of the week.
speaking of things that I was confused about was
So, Vaughn, are we supposed to point it out when you say that, or we just
you
pretend
do whatever
it
you
didn't
want with
happen?
it. Who does the costuming for the show? Have you noticed the costuming? They're always wearing like on their tops like a minimum of 3 layers. Like it'll be like a turtleneck with a t-shirt with a vest over the top for some reason, and they'll always be like these bright, like it'll be like a really bright purple with a bright blue and then a bright yellow. It'll just be the worst color scheme. It looks like
And patterns on
yeah,
everything.
it looks like a 5-year-old chose their costumes, and the costumes themselves were designed by a dumber, uglier 5-year-old. It's
So I don't have an answer to the colors, but my Big Bang theory on why they're wearing all those layers is they're wearing the layers to stay warm in this freezing studio, so Penny can have stipples.
Hey.
good call out there.
Because Penny's
Yeah.
Penny's never in multiple layers.
I'll have to actually
No, so they're just cold. That's all it is. They're like, fuck whatever's there. That's red and yellow. That doesn't go. It doesn't matter. Put them on. We need stipples, and you're gonna be cold.
This is probably the smartest thing you've ever said, Rob. Speaking of, well, there's no segue here. It's not speaking of anything. Laugh count before we finish off. Did either of you laugh? I'm going to straight up say no. I'm still on 0 for the whole series. How about you, Pete?
No laughter from me. I did laugh at the fact that I was about to watch Big Bang Theory again, though. So as I was as I was turning the TV on, I laughed to myself.
Laughed while crying, like just laughing. Like
Yeah.
Rob.
And I did not laugh in this one.
I've got one more anecdote for you, which is a true story that because I didn't laugh, but Krautmeister, my girlfriend, did laugh, but she was laughing at me getting angry at the show, and
Excellent.
but that very quickly, like I think it was like the Star Wars reference at the start. I just got pissed off, and she just laughed, and then by the end, it was just this weird vibe in the room of just
It's negative energy
was.
from the Big Bang Theory.
yeah, exactly. It does put you in this weird negative place, and it actually reminded me of. I had this great old cult film, and I was like, "Oh, Krautmeister, have you ever seen this?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "It's really sick. It's such a good movie, and it is such a great movie." And I was like, "Let's watch this." And I download it. I watch it, my choice, and we watch the film. Actually, no, I went to download the film, and it was like director's cut, and I was like, "Sweet, I haven't even seen that. It's extra footage. It's like even longer. Wicked." Put it in, play it on, press play, and. It turns out the director's cut has this weird extra 20 minutes of a pedophilia angle that I was not aware of.
Ugh.
So it was Leon the Professional. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen the
Yeah, I
director's
love
cut.
that. I love that movie. I love the film. I don't recall the director's cut or any weird
I didn't
weird
I didn't
pedo
notice
angle.
that either. And that was the weird thing. It was like, "Hey, Krautmeister, check out this sick film." And then she's like, "Why do you? What's with this weird like?" Because in the original film,
My favorite part is the relationship between Leon, who's the professional,
it's
and the young 12-year-old girl.
If anything, he's very unprofessional about the whole thing. And it's actually the director's cut is fucked up. Like it's like in the original film, it's just like there's this kind of notes where she falls in love with him, and he keeps like a sort of dad presence because he's 39 and she is 12. And in the director's cut, he is basically saying, "Oh, I would do something, but I can't, but I really want to," and it's
Whoa.
yeah, it's
Okay.
really
So he acknowledges it.
Yeah,
The fact that he's
he's-
like, I'm a weirdo.
yeah, it's and I went online
Ugh.
and people were like defending it, like you don't get it. Oh, U.S. people, you are so prudish and all this kind of stuff.
And in their little profile photo, they're just like standing next to a really small boy. They've just got their arm around a bunch of kids.
You don't understand.
In their little profile. Yeah.
But the point is, all of that aside, is got to the end of this film and got this really weird vibe where, like, Crapmaster was looking at me like, why did you make me watch this celebration of pedophilia? And I got the exact same feeling after the Big Bang Theory, like this kind of looking at me going, like, what are you doing? Watching this crap.
So you watch a 2-hour feature film versus a 20-minute episode of Big Bang Theory. That's
Yeah,
great.
so Big Bang
I
Theory is
wonder if,
actually
like,
efficient in that way that it can get to that really negative space really quickly.
straight to the point.
Yeah.
Just focuses in. It'd be great to have a medium come through your house, like through your lounge room, and just like do a bit of a reading.
I'm sensing
like
a
a lot of-
really
lot of bad
weird
vibes here.
negative energy from your downloads folder. Oh, what's this subfolder of Big Bang Theory? Has some evil presence. Also, that Leon the Professional folder, not that great either.
Coconut enemas for all.
Okay, can't top that. Let's end on that. I've been Vaughn.
I've been Rob.
And I've been Pete.
Fuck this.
And we've been a bunch of Bazinga boys.
Oh, yeah, Bazinga boys.
Peace.
Bye. What was that, Rob? Hey, it's Vaughn here. Do you often find yourself wondering, hey, what's the best way to ingest the Bazinga Boys podcast? Well, the answer is a shelving machine. But if you don't have a shelving machine, you can go to iTunes. You can go to Castbox, which is some bullshit Android version I've got. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Play. It's fucking everywhere, mate. So yeah, just go there or go to bazingaboys.com. What the fuck? We bought a website. Someone got a job. Also, don't forget to go to facebook.com Bazinga Boys. Leave us a comment. Say, hey, just say something to us and we can reply to it. Ask us a question. Well, I don't know. What you do whatever you want.